homicide. None of my niggas scared to shoot. All my niggas down the route, be ready when we spit at you. We gon' be so close at 9, set me off that 45. Something we call homicide. Set me off the 45. Something we call homicide. None of my niggas scared to shoot. All my niggas down the route, be ready when we spit at you. We gon' be so close at 9, set me off that 45. Something we call homicide. It was on a Saturday, I was smoking that Mary J. Hit some weed off in my system. Know this nigga bout to pay me all my cheese. If he don't, I'ma break his knees. Beat him down to the ground because he did not pay my cheese. Stop him up just like a bitch. Fucking your car, grab a stick. Beat him down to...
Wait for it. Here it comes. Almost there.
Living in America. I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass.
You heard what Roddy Rod Piper said. All out of bubblegum. Came here to kick ass. It's time for us to start kicking ass. Still January the 5th, 2025. I got a couple more videos. Really not gonna interact with any of them. I'm gonna let y'all collect y'all thoughts off of what y'all see. But I just wanna say, people need to come together. I'm gonna keep saying that. We need to pay attention to our surroundings. Don't go to crowded areas. Try not to go out to parties. You know, the typical stuff that we do to hang out with our fellow people. Keep it local. You know what I mean when I say local. Drop Addy. And don't invite nobody over and don't get with nobody that you don't fucking know. Cause motherfuckers is weird out here nowadays. I don't fuck with nobody. I stay to myself 90% of the time. So, I don't have that problem. I do pay attention to my surroundings whenever I go places though. I watch everything. And that's what you need to start doing. You need to start watching everything. Even if you feel paranoid, you still do it. Because they don't tell them what might happen. Especially in a crowded area. It's your boy, Faceless One, trying to give you tips on life to survive out here. Shit is getting hectic. Shit is getting out of pocket. Shit is crazy. Shit is real deal crazy. Shit crazy. Yeah. Y'all enjoy these clips. Really ain't got nothing else to say. I just feel like, you know what I'm saying, we've been lied to, infiltrated. I don't know if the Shawn Ryan podcast is real or if they lying to us. It's just too much. First you had a lady on there talking about Al-Qaeda and shit. Motherfuckers with vests on, ready to blow themselves up and shit. Got 1,000 of them. She said it might be more people over here. Then you had a podcast with Sam up there talking his mess. Talking about how he got the email from old boy and shit. Matthew. Did all the stuff he said in it. Boy DNA, his DNA didn't match. That big gun that they found off in the car, you would have heard the shot. I mean, what he said was making sense, right? But how the fuck do you know all this shit? How the fuck do you know all this information? Was that email real? Was you just blowing hot ass air out of your fucking mouth? Or was you telling the truth? Because 2025 starting off crazy, man. Sound like World War III about to happen or some shit. And that's just me collecting the intel, the data that I'm collecting on all the shit that people putting out here. I be watching videos all the time on TikTok and shit, so I see a lot on the little shit that I put up on my videos and stuff. That be like, you know what I'm saying, will be catching my attention. And what I think other people need to see. I don't know. It's your boy, Faceless One. January 5th, 2025. Reporting. I ain't live, but I'm reporting. I'm alive though.
Wait, y'all. This is just getting worse and worse about a day. Did y'all see the video that they now put out with the New Orleans attacker having meta glasses? These glasses are just like the Ray-Ban glasses where you could wear them and you can record. Like, the video looks so real. It looked 3D. This was taken in November. So, of course, the FBI have these glasses now where the recording, where they got this from, the video was shot in November. He was in the French quarters with his meta glasses on a bicycle recording. And when I tell y'all, this looked better than like you recording from a phone or from a camera, like an actual camera, like recording, capturing moments. These are the meta glasses. I don't know what's going on, but this man he really had this stuff planned out. That is so crazy just to know you all along you had this attack planned way sometime in November, October, when you was shot, when the video was shot with you with the meta glasses, you're recording on a bicycle. And this is January 9th, and that happened on New Year's. Y'all, we living in some crazy times. The whole time he was peeping out the scene. He was already peeping out the play, what was going on. So, if he wasn't familiar with those areas and those streets, that's why he wore those meta glasses, because he had to record and go back and watch and see the steps he had to take to put down those IEDs and to know which way to take. Y'all, this getting crazy about a day. But y'all know, like I always say, keep God first. Y'all say y'all prayers and y'all stay safe. Don't trust nobody. Peace. Okay, y'all, I got some more information. So they're saying that the attacker had visited Canada and he visited Egypt. Okay, so along that, with him visiting those places, and he also took a trip to New Orleans before going back to Texas. So when he went to Texas, they say he visited several gun stores. So he already had this attack planned. Okay, and so when he was unalive in a shooting, once the police had checked his vehicle, that's where they found the transmitter. He had the transmitter in his car, so that was going to be used to detonate those two IEDs that he planted along Bourbon Street. So this could have turned out worse than ever. But I honestly think that some kind of way those bombs had malfunction. I really do think that, because why not just set them off before you even get out the car to start shooting? You know, that's just my theory on the situation. But he had made trips to Canada, Egypt, and then he made a trip to New Orleans, and alongside going back to Texas, where he visits numerous gun stores. If y'all heard any more information, y'all let me know in the comments, y'all. Peace. But like I always say, y'all stay prayed up and stay safe. Bye.
This entire year has been nothing but suspicious shit, okay? But let's start with this one. The Cybertruck explosion in Las Vegas. Matthew. Shit's not adding up. The body that they recovered from the Cybertruck was so badly burnt it had to be identified through tattoos, dental records, and then finally DNA. But the wallet on that body? Perfect almost. It's burnt up a little bit, but you can still read the credit card numbers to the point where they had to black them out. Then we have the route that Matthew chose to take from Denver, Colorado, all the way to Las Vegas, Nevada. why did he do that? There was no reason for this route. Please notice there is a Las Vegas, New Mexico that he stopped in as well. And let's keep in mind that these Tesla Cybertrucks, they have that auto drive function. There doesn't have to be someone behind the wheel, or that person doesn't, you know what I'm saying? First I thought maybe it was Tesla charging stations, so I pulled up a map of all the charging stations inside the United States, and there's still a more direct route. He went all the way around. Was he just trying to tour the country? I find it even more suspicious as shit that there are two different narratives out there about why Matthew did what he did. Supposed Shawn Ryan email that you can pause to read the entire thing right now if you want. In this narrative of the situation, it makes it seem like China is responsible for the drones in our sky, and Matthew felt bad about a war crime that was committed in 2019. And then in this narrative that the media is releasing, it makes it seem like Matthew just did what he did because he wants to purge the government, and this was a wake-up call to all Americans. Literally, he says, time to wake up to his fellow service members, veterans, and all Americans. Now, this document and the last one that I showed you were on the Notes app on his iPhone. He also had a surveillance log in the Notes app on his iPhone where he had been documenting for the past 10 days someone watching him or something he was watching. How did Matthew light the fireworks in the back? And also, you know what I'm saying?
If what they are saying is true about this guy that's supposed to be responsible for the Tesla explosion in front of Trump Tower, then it's either we are being highly gaslit right now or some shit is about to go down in the United States. This man is literally going to be titled the whistleblower of the year because they think that he is still alive. They think that the person that was in that Tesla truck was a decoy, and the whole
During that time, Jabbar, using Meta glasses, recorded a video as he rode through the French Quarter on a bicycle. This video shows Jabbar during that trip in October with his Meta glasses. As we continue to learn more about that trip, we ask anyone who may have seen or interacted with him to contact us. Now, for more information, Meta glasses appear to look like regular glasses, but they allow a user to record videos and photos hand-free. They also allow the user to potentially live stream through their video.
In terms of the so-called manifesto that's circulating online, we have strong evidence to suggest that it was the subject that wrote it, but we haven't conclusively proven that yet. And that evidence relates to other evidence that we're finding that we're able to compare that lead us to believe it was in fact him who sent it.
All right, so here's a couple updates about what's going on so far. This old boy with this Cybertruck, there was no signature of any sort of firing of a weapon at the scene when it went off, so there's a lot of questions about alive, not alive, all that jazz. Also, we need to start talking about the Disclosure Project. It is like this big right now, but please understand that they claim that they're going to expose off the books projects that have advanced technologies. Like, they're not talking about aliens. They're talking about people who have done bad things to have technology. So, the Disclosure Project. Go listen to Dr. Stephen Greer. I will do another video later. Hope y'all are having a blessed day.
I don't think the media should have revealed that Din Jabbar, the New Orleans attacker, worked for Deloitte, especially considering that they are the main consulting firm for the CIA, and Deloitte hires over 3,000 veterans. They're like one of the top veteran employers in the United States, which means they're a fucking pipeline. And considering that one of my good friends did 4 years special forces, getting recruited by the CIA right out of college, and then did 4 years of counterterrorism, I am so tempted to pick his brain about this because he does consulting work, and many of his peers who were in his unit now work for companies like Deloitte and Accenture. He worked for Accenture, which is another one that deals with like some contracts, but Deloitte specifically deals with military contracts. And my friend that is not CIA, that's what he did. He got recruited by Deloitte, in 2012, got a $65K salary, a $5K signing bonus, and a $200 per diem. He had to work 70 hours a week, but still, like, he didn't even get to spend time in his apartment. He pretty much told me, he's like, dude, I'm in there to sleep, or I'm in a hotel most days. So for Din Jabbar to be working for Deloitte, to work in real estate, to kind of be all over the place, that's not suspicious, especially if you're a consultant. You're going to do a lot of traveling. So for him to be still well off and then to all of a sudden change it up, can you say activation? But, that's just me theorizing and conspiracy bullshit. But I am very tempted to call my buddy Zach and pick his brain about this, because something tells me Din Jabbar was a spook for these guys.
Some extremely tragic news right now. A New Orleans assistant district attorney has taken his own life overnight in his office. According to local reports, Orleans Parish Assistant District Attorney Ian Kirsting took his own life, a gunshot wound to the head, overnight in his office on late Saturday night. According to reports, Kirsting was an assistant district attorney specializing in the sex crimes department, and there's obviously no indication at all that he has any connection to the prosecutors investigating, or the police investigating, what the terrorist attack that happened earlier this year in New Orleans. But this is yet another devastating incident in a city that has faced far too much tragic heartbreak. Now, I also want to make this video to express my deepest condolences to Kirsting's family over this tragedy. It's absolutely horrible. And also to know that there is going to be a lot of misinformation and a lot of conspiracy theories following this death. And it's important that you guys dispel a lot of that misinformation and conspiracy, because there's nothing to suggest that Kirsting's death had anything to do with the investigation into the terrorist attack. As always, comment below your thoughts, spread the word, and follow along for all the news you need to know about. We have some new and important developments in the New Orleans terrorist attack investigation. According to the FBI, the individual responsible for the terrorist attack actually visited New Orleans multiple times in the weeks leading up to the attack and used Meta recording glasses to record the scene where he was going to commit the truck ramming. He wore the smart glasses as he recorded video and rode a bicycle through the French Quarter. He also wore the glasses during the New Year's Day attack, but they were not activated, so they weren't recording. He also placed multiple explosives throughout French Quarter, and as I reported earlier, he used a rare type of explosive that had never been used in any attack in the United States or Europe ever before. So it stumped investigators thus far as to how he was able to get the knowledge to create this type of explosive. Now, the FBI still believes that no one has been helping him, though, despite this rare explosive that was found on the scene. As always, comment below your thoughts, spread the word, and follow along to stay up to date on all the news you need to know about. More to come. We have some big news right now. MAGA is absolutely freaking out over Donald Trump's upcoming sentencing, and one of the big reasons is because when he is officially sentenced by Justice Merchan, he will become a convicted felon. One of MAGA's top arguments is that Donald Trump is not a convicted felon because he had yet to be sentenced by a judge. Well, now he's going to be sentenced by a judge before he takes office as president. So on January 10th, in their eyes, that argument goes away and he will be a convicted felon. Now, a lot of this is just semantics, right? He was convicted by a jury of his peers. In that moment, he became a convicted felon. But MAGA can argue there are technicalities that he doesn't actually become a felon until he is sentenced. Well, he will receive that sentence and he will become a felon in their eyes on January 10th. And they really hope that Justice Merchan would actually overturn the verdict or dismiss the case so that they can always argue that Trump was never actually a convicted felon, that a jury may have found him guilty, but he was never convicted because he was never sentenced. But that argument is going out the window in just a matter of days. And that's whether or not he gets prison time or is just a conditional discharge. Comment below your thoughts, spread the word, and follow along for all the news you need to know about.
Well, China is reportedly being ravaged by some mysterious viral outbreak, and it's supposedly overwhelming hospitals all over China. There are videos now surfacing all over social media which appear to show hospitals run over by patients wearing face masks, parents holding sick children in long lines in pediatric units. There are some unverified reports that crematories and funeral homes are also being overwhelmed. Obviously, this is alarming. This is exactly how COVID started. This is exactly what we went through. And yeah, here we are again. We just all talked about this fog that went over the whole entire nation. And now here we are, not even a week later, and they are saying the hospitals are completely full.
I'm curious if any of that drone panic had anything to do with what has been occurring in the first 3 days of the new year. Now, shout out to Drew, because I saw this tweet and it got me thinking. They said, boy, that drone panic sure ended quickly. And it really did. Now, y'all remember just after Thanksgiving, but right before Christmas, people started seeing those drones over New Jersey. And then somebody by the name of Jersey Futures, who then deleted their account, had stated that they thought that those drones were HGPE drones, that these type of drones were first seen in Ukraine and then later on speculated to be seen over New Jersey, and they detect gamma ray radiation. Now, the reason why these drones fly low and slow is because they are taking samples of air quality. That's what they're doing. Now, while people were talking about the drones over New Jersey, people also forgot that there was over 150 unidentified drone sightings in Virginia. And again, it was that same thing, the low and slow drone. And then boom, not proverbially, but there were pipe bombs found in Virginia, over 150 of them, which would be the largest seizure in federal history. Now, according to WSAZ, and shout out to them, they stated that over 150 explosive devices generally categorized as pipe bombs were found in the home and the garage of a 20-acre farm in Isles of Wight, I hope I'm saying that correctly, last month, and it was documented by the state. Prosecutors stated that they had discovered what was made while investigators were serving a search warrant for an unregistered short barrel rifle believed to be in the possession of the suspect identified as Brad Stafford. I hope I'm saying his name correctly. Now, investigators also stated that they had found other materials or bomb-making materials such as fuses, pieces of PVC pipe, and a jar of MHTD, a highly volatile explosive material, inside the freezer next to food. This man was crazy, not next to the food, honey. Now, the reason why this lunatic wasn't let loose on bond is because prosecutors had argued in his bail trial that the defendant had used pictures of the current president, Joe Biden, as target practice, expressed support for political assassinations, and recently sought qualifications in a sniper rifle shooting at his local gun range. Now, sources close to this report stated that person, Brad, had made political beliefs about bringing back assassinations, like, okay, crazy. And that missing children in the news have been taken by federal government to be trained as school shooters. Oh, he was really out there, huh? For some strange reason, this dude Brad's attorneys were attempting to fight to get him out, which is a bad idea. They had argued in his bail hearing that in the documents that the prosecutors provided, no evidence that Stafford used the gun that was subject to the original search warrant. So they're saying, well, even though you had a search warrant for that short barrel rifle, he never actually used it. They also talked about Stafford's familial and community ties, adding that there was no evidence that he had planned to use the explosives or even had the means to. Because if I was the judge, I would have asked the defense, if he didn't have what it took to get these things to detonate, then why was he making them? Trial and error. He made over 150 of them. At some point, he wanted one of them to go off.
If you were evil and wanted to destroy America, how would you do it?
If I wanted to destroy America, 1. Divide society. Encourage division across political, racial, and ideological lines, amplifying conflicts that create distrust and weaken national unity. 2. Weaken education. Gradually lower standards and shift focus away from critical thinking, creating a population that's more easily influenced and less informed. 3. Damage public health. Promote widespread use of unhealthy foods, chemicals, and pharmaceuticals, leading to chronic illness and dependency. 4. Break community bonds. Undermine family and community structures by fostering isolation and individualism over collective support. 5. Control the narrative. Limit free speech and censor alternative viewpoints, creating a culture where people fear speaking openly. This would erode resilience, leaving the nation open to influence and control.
Sound familiar?
I saw the government from all over the world start to use drones all over the place. They're all at a certain level, all above, just buzzing around. He said, you're going to start to hear a lot about aliens on TV. You're going to start to see more what they want to call UFO encounter lights and things in the sky is what he's warning me about. He said there will actually be a great deception.
Las Vegas, Father. I just seen a glimpse of Vegas. Oh, are these all on the same day? I pray over Las Vegas, Lord. Oh, it is. I just seen a glimpse of New Orleans, Bourbon Street. It is an attack simultaneously when people are distracted. But I would say New Orleans is darkest, but there's just one man. It's a masked plan. It's a masked plans. There's more than just these two, the Lord says. There's more than just these two. He's given me a glimpse into these two, though.
I feel like everybody remembers 4 years ago, January 6th. Little insurrection, people storming the Capitol and all of that. But I feel like a lot of people have forgotten about the pipe bombs someone placed around the area. I mean, it's been 4 years now, and no one has been identified despite a $500,000 reward. So the FBI just released new surveillance footage of the suspect in that case, and we're going to watch it together really quickly. I feel like this could be helpful. I just have one question. Where was Marjorie Taylor Greene when the bombs were being placed? Where was Marjorie Taylor Greene when the bombs were being left around town? I wrote that song myself, just now. Melody, lyrics, and arrangement by me. Then again, Marjorie does have a history of downplaying the threat of those bombs, so I feel like it's a good question, and I stand by it.
All right, so this is my first World War III update of 2025. Needless to say, the first 48 hours can be best described as a raging inferno in a crack house. Not a crack house, a meth house. That's what the kids are doing nowadays. A meth house, ass-to-ass meth heads tweaking out, while sirens go off, fireworks are going off, cars are driving through buildings, the rats are nibbling at the patient's feet. Everything is just going to hell in a handbasket, as they say, and we're only on day 2. So, here's what's going on in the world, guys. We're going to give you the 30,000-foot view first before we dive into the details of what's going on here today, and boy, do we got a lot of details to share with you today. Breaking news, I hope you're sitting down. Matthew Leibelsberger, the Tesla Cybertruck bomber, allegedly has connections not only with the New Jersey drone phenomena, but also the end of the world, aka mutually assured nuclear destruction. Like I said, I hope you are sitting down. This has been 100% confirmed, what I'm about to tell you. Whether or not we believe it is another story. And I can tell you right now, what I'm about to tell you, I am highly suspicious of. In fact, I think it's a steaming hot pile of misinformation. However, in the misinformation, we get some of the truth. Now, Sam Shoemate, who's an intelligence officer, apparently, I'm not sure what the extent of his service or his resume is, but he was a guest on the Shawn Ryan podcast. Shawn Ryan is a fellow YouTuber who has some pretty high-profile guests on his channel, many of which have been on this channel before. Up until this point, I've always viewed Shawn Ryan as a very credible source for information and discourse. However, after all of the circumstance surrounding the release of this email that allegedly Matthew Leibelsberger sent to this Sam Shoemate intelligence officer on the day of the Cybertruck self-detonation, which has now been confirmed by the authorities just a couple hours ago that it was in fact Leibelsberger who was in the vehicle at the time. All of this starts to look incredibly suspicious, and I'm telling you guys, this is a wild one. Now, I want to first off say before we get into this, I think this is a red herring. This story is going to dissipate like all the rest, but it does serve the specific function of crafting a narrative, of trying to discourage and discredit any valid inquiries into the New Jersey drone phenomena, as well as linking it with mental illness, as well as trying to minimize or poison the well of inquiry into war crimes. We'll get into all this in just a second. Now, here is why I think this Sam Shoemate guy is a little bit suspicious, okay? This is what Sam Shoemate claims. Now, he claims that he received this email from this guy on the day of the attack, right before the attack. He claims, and I quote, this is what he says on Twitter, "I knew taking this public would insert me into the Glowy Boy conspiracy cycle." Glowy is just somebody who is a plant, a misinformant put there by the intelligence community to inject false information into the discourse and send people on wild goose chases, okay? Especially since I'm an intelligence officer. Yeah, I could see why we're suspicious. I had no choice. Dude dumped it into my inbox. You know, you got to throw in a dude just to sound like one of the bros. When I saw his name in the news, I had little choice but to hand it over to the feds. I had no choice. I just had to give it to them on a silver platter. I knew the FBI wouldn't release it, or at least not without an agenda attached. So I took it to Shawn Ryan 762 because I'm an intelligence officer, and that's what responsible intelligence officers do, of course. Because he has the platform to handle the magnitude of this information and will do so as objectively as possible. Not because we're trying to pump up the Shawn Ryan podcast, because that's one of our filters of truth that we want you to go to. Okay, and now here's what Shawn Ryan had to say, and this is when I knew, steaming pile of horse shit. "My family and I are disappearing for a few days. My account will be active, but it will not be me behind the wheel. We are about to release this mind-boggling information, and it will raise a lot of questions. So he's going to retreat and disappear from the machine. This guy is going to try to disappear from the panopticon. This guy, which is on the NSA's radar like you wouldn't." So there is another explanation as to what is going on here. And I think this one is something that very likely could be the case. Now, with that, the latter, the spy hypothesis, the reason why the government is trying to promulgate these theories, and the reason why you're seeing these fake videos that are obviously fake being amplified so that they can later be debunked and discredited, well, the purpose of that is to act as a smokescreen. It's to saturate the space, to convolute it, and to make it so that, you know, nobody knows what the hell is going on, and it's just a big imbroglio. They want to inject as much disinformation into the space to take attention away from the fact that indeed we're in a global war. It's a hybrid war. Spies are currently active. Sleeper cells are not active yet. They should be at some point, obviously, once this war kicks off, of course. It's like a 0 day. You don't want to use it until the final hour, until that proverbial day X. That's when those sleeper cells get turned on. But they also want to take attention away from this because, of course, people would panic if they knew that there were these spies in the country. But people would panic more so if they knew that there were nuclear weapons that were smuggled into the country, possibly, and that these drones that are surveilling the space, be it at airports or sensitive sites, are actually nuclear detection drones. This is a technology which has been around for a long time. It can detect using various sensors. It can detect nuclear radiation that's emitted from nuclear weapons. And if the public was told, I want you to just think about this for a second. If in New Jersey or New York, they said that, hey, we suspect that a nuclear weapon was smuggled in, and of course, remember, the United States has a lot of adversaries right now, arguably more than at any time in history. And it's cumulative, so all the wars that we fought over the last 50 years, a lot of people still want revenge. If the public was told, hey, there's a nuclear bomb possibly somewhere, but we're looking for it, don't worry, do you think this would trigger mass panic and people would hedge their bets and try to get out of the city? Absolutely, they would. This would upend the economy. This would undermine an otherwise still teetering on the brink of collapse, but still roaring sky-high, overvalued economy that is on the brink of collapse. And all it would take was the right black swan. Not even a black swan, but the fear of a black swan event. The collective hysteria that there might be a black swan event to bring the whole thing to a halt and to crash the markets. So the government has a vested interest in not leveling with people that indeed these drones that we are seeing are what you're seeing right here. This is a nuclear detection drone. It fits all of the specs that many of the eyewitnesses are indicating these drones possess. The size of a small car.
So wait a minute. The FBI want you to stop solving crimes? Let me pick myself down to another guy so we can get into it. The FBI asks Twitter and TikTok users to stop solving crimes before they can do it. Which is sad because it's their job to do it, but yet the public is doing their job. And if y'all wasn't sitting in your office twiddling your thumbs trying to figure out what next case you're going to pick up, we got this. The internet, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, we all got this. We got this. We gonna solve every single motherfucking crime that we can find. I've been on this app and we've solved a few crimes just by doing our own investigations. Just like that Carly girl that said she was kidnapped, I was the first person to say she was lying. I lost thousands of black female followers for making that claim. Just like the lady in Texas who said she was assaulted by a guy with a brick. I repeatedly told the public she was lying. I lost thousands of more black female followers because of that. Only for all of my accusations to be true. Because we investigate. So FBI, do us a favor. Cut us our checks. Since we doing y'all's job. Oh, not to mention the kidnapped baby that we got back from Texas to Indiana.
Be careful who you talk to.
Yeah.
And I would be careful about leaving messages. And I would face-to-face it if you get the opportunity. Yeah, I would think I'd just be cautious. Since I've been in Washington, I remember I always give the example. My wife and I a buddy of mine's in the trinket business, whatever, I don't know what you call it, swag. And we were talking about these little red Solo cups that had some made out of aluminum. And I just thought that's the coolest thing. And both of us, within 30 minutes, what we have on our phone, ads for red Solo cups. Mm-hmm. And that's not so much when you call in your congressman's office, but I just think there's ears and eyes everywhere up there. Mm-hmm. I just don't think we are scratching the surface.
So I said I wasn't gonna say nothing about it. I'm really not reacting. I just want to say something about the FBI. Whoever the FBI, CIA, they don't want us to solve cases anymore. See what happened whenever you put people on fucking lockdown? You see what happened whenever you fucking create a fucking virus and make people sit in the motherfucking house? We all turn into investigators. We do research, we follow paperwork, paper trails, you know what I'm saying? Like so many people just investigators now and don't have a degree for the shit. 2025, there's a lot going on. Already a lot to unpack. What's real, what's fake. It's your boy Faceless One. Internet damage report. Thinking about changing this shit to crazy shit. Just cause all this crazy shit going on.
Something we call homicide. None of my niggas scared to shoot. All my niggas down the route, be ready when we spit at you. We gon' be so close at 9. Set me off that 45. Something we call homicide. Set me off the 45. Something we call homicide. None of my niggas scared homicide.